sûr qu'on nous prend pour des cons, mais j'en suis certain. Quelque chose ne tourne pas rond, car je suis sûr qu'on nous prend pour des cons, mais j'en suis certain. Il est temps que la musique joue et que la basse résonne. Nous sommes dans la zone rouge, le système nous assomme. Maquillage, des bavures policières, falsification de l'histoire. Mais je suis sûr qu'on nous prend pour des cons, mais j'en suis certain. Quelque chose ne tourne pas rond, car je suis sûr qu'on nous prend pour des cons, mais j'en suis certain. Originaire du Nil, classé dans ma assistance en calcul, mon œil de la métropole par-ci le club, mais par là des maisons, vont calmer le peuple à coup de RMI, que personne ne s'affole, oh, que personne ne s'affole, que personne ne s'affole, oh, que personne ne s'affole.
C'est quoi un permis de recherche? Normalement, ça devrait être faire des cartes, essayer de voir si effectivement il y a du gaz de schiste ou pas. Ça donne le droit au titulaire de l'autorisation d'aller dans les propriétés privées, de faire des sondages, de faire des trous, de déforester, tout ça sans aucune étude d'impact et sans pratiquement aucun droit des propriétaires.
Et
très peu de
ça
droits.
concerne combien de surface
C'est colossal.
C'est 1%, c'est ça, du territoire français qui est
beaucoup
concerné?
plus que ça. Quand j'ai fait mon article, je croyais qu'avec 1%, parce que j'avais vu une des autorisations dans le sud. Mais par exemple, l'autorisation de Montélimar fait 6000 km². C'est-à-dire qu'en réalité, à la louche, à
Donc,
mon
ils vont
avis,
être
c'est 4 à
fragilisés.
5% du territoire français qui sont concernés, si on met bout à bout tous les permis de recherche qui ont été délivrés.
Mais vous pouvez compter sur ma vigilance pour que nous ne voyions pas en France le type de paysage désolé auquel une exploitation sans retenue et sans contrainte environnementale a conduit les États-Unis. Et non pour augmenter la consommation de gaz, mais par exemple pour se substituer à des importations.
What I want is to use our resources in America. It's cheaper and it's ours. It's ours.
I didn't know was that the 2005 energy bill pushed through Congress by Dick Cheney exempts the oil and natural gas industries from the Safe Drinking Water Act. They were also exempt from the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the Superfund Law, and about a dozen other environmental and democratic regulations. The 2005 energy bill cleared away all the restrictions. Companies like Encana, Williams, Cabot Oil and Gas, and Chesapeake began to use the new Halliburton technology, and they began the largest and most extensive domestic gas drilling campaign in history.
Il y a des Nord-Américains, il y a Total, bien entendu, il y a des sociétés françaises mariées avec des sociétés américaines. Il semblerait que des proches du président de la République, je pense à M. Balkany, soient dans ces opérations. Il n'est pas toujours facile de savoir qui est derrière, mais manifestement, il y a GDF Suez aussi. Manifestement, il y a eu beaucoup de bienveillance de la part de Jean-Louis Borloo, puisque c'est lui qui a délivré les autorisations.
quel est leur intérêt, ces industriels? Ça coûte moins cher d'exploiter cette nouvelle ressource que de développer les énergies renouvelables, ce vers quoi on devrait aller. Alors que c'est pourtant une
ce sont des
exploitation.
pétroliers. Les pétroliers sont en face d'une grande difficulté. C'est que les réserves conventionnelles de pétrole sont en chute libre. Ils veulent continuer à vendre du pétrole, des hydrocarbures. Ce sont des industriels qui n'ont pas du tout pris la décision de passer à un autre mode énergétique, malgré toute la pub qu'ils font.
Oui, mais ça coûte cher d'exploiter le gaz de schiste.
Oui,
ça
coûte cher,
rentable, quand même.
mais c'est très rentable. Le baril de pétrole est aujourd'hui autour de 100 $. Et il ne va cesser de monter pour la bonne et simple raison que les réserves conventionnelles sont de plus en plus réduites. Tout simplement parce que beaucoup de pays ont triché sur l'importance de leurs réserves. Donc, que font les pétroliers? Eh bien, les pétroliers, ils font de l'offshore, et on a vu ce que ça donne avec le golfe du Mexique, et ils font du recours aux hydrocarbures non conventionnels. Schiste bitumineux dans l'Alaska, gaz de schiste en Europe et aux États-Unis, où c'est une exploitation considérable. Et effectivement, ça devient très vite très rentable. Ça bouleverse complètement l'effort que la planète est en train d'essayer de faire pour passer à la case post-pétrolière. C'est-à-dire que le monde pétrolier, après avoir pendant des années et des années payé des scientifiques pour venir nous raconter des bobards sur le fait que le changement climatique, ça n'existait pas, bien maintenant ils sont passés à la phase suivante. C'est-à-dire, on va continuer autrement. Ça met en péril la rentabilité des autres énergies. Et c'est le but des pétroliers. C'est de rendre inefficace, au sens économique du terme, le passage à la société post-pétrolière.
There are multiple wells, so each of those dots is what they call a pad, and from each of those pads, they can sometimes drill 2, 5, 10 wells. So if you take each of those dots and multiply it by 5 to 10, you start to see why we've now got about 10,000 wells around the city of Fort Worth. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality had no idea. The TCEQ had no idea how many gas wells were being put in and were in the ground around the city of Fort Worth. We were interested in kind of getting a handle on this. What were really the emissions that were coming out from the oil and gas sector? And we didn't want to rely on the state's numbers. The state had just admitted publicly that they didn't know what the emissions were, that their numbers were grossly underestimated. So we did our own. We now know that emissions from this sector are greater than the accumulated emissions of all passenger vehicles, all the cars and trucks in Dallas and Fort Worth.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that oil and gas development in the last how many years is greater than the total car emissions for the entire city?
That's right. If you look at the latest inventories of what emissions are from passenger vehicles like cars, trucks, vans, motorcycles, it turns out it's about 200 tons a day of emissions, the kinds of things that form ozone and fine particles. Now, if you take a look at the latest emission inventory that I worked on with Environmental Defense Fund from the oil and gas sector around the city of Fort Worth, it's about 200 tons a day.
The rigs were burning diesel, some of them 800 gallons a day. But that wasn't all. There was something coming off the condensate tanks. I'd seen these condensate tanks everywhere, all across.
Hey, we're going to have to turn off the TV for a little while. Pipelines are designed to have this release where they're shooting natural gas into the air. Of course, they tell you that this all shoots up goes straight to the moon and there's none of it lingering around. There's a cloud lingering over one of our subdivisions. When things like this happen, most of the people in the community think that they've just taken their last breath.
Calvin Tillman was so frustrated with the TCEQ's inaction that he commissioned his own air study. The results read sort of like the back of a pamphlet that you don't want to pick up at the American Cancer Society. The study found, and I quote, amazing and very high levels of known and suspected human carcinogens and neurotoxins. These chemicals include benzene, dimethyl disulfide, methyl ethyl disulfide, ethyl methyl ethyl disulfide, trimethylbenzene, diethylbenzene, methyl methyl ethyl benzene, tetramethylbenzene, naphthalene, 1,2,4, trimethylbenzene, MNP xylenes, carbonyl sulfide, carbon disulfide, methylpyridine, and diamethylpyridine. Benzene in the air was at 55 times the public health standard. Carbon disulfide was at 107 times. the health standard. The report states that acute impacts to health will occur with these concentrations of chemicals in the air. The cancer and neurotoxins will also have an impact over the long term.
And one of the sites, it's kind of humorous, but it's not humorous, is that there's a sign that says no open flames, no smoking, and then there's a barbecue grill sitting underneath it. You know, so some guy is going to be cooking his hamburger one day and blow up the town.
Companies like Devon, ConocoPhillips, who, because out in their gas fields or on their oil fields have thousands of little sources, each of those little sources is exempted from the Clean Air Act. Now, the accumulated emissions from those thousands of sources are huge. It can apply to many different places because there's lots of different communities that are sitting right on top of shale formations. If the drilling happens in those formations the way it happened in Fort Worth, a very unregulated, Wild West, then it'll be a real tragedy because we learned our lesson here. That you've got to stay on top of this. You've got to look at the issues as it's happening and don't wait until you've had development for 10 years the way we did. Then it's just a big mess.
And it's gurgling.
Oh, wow. So that's the sample.
This is, it's all settled out,
Right.
but that's what our water looked like.
That came just out of the tap?
Out of the tap.
Right.
So in 3 weeks, they contacted Mike by phone and said, we've tested your water. There's nothing wrong with your water.
With this?
With this. There's nothing wrong with the water that can be affected by the oil and gas production in your area.
So what have you been doing?
We put in our own tank and he hauls water every week.
I've got 2 500-gallon tanks, and I go to town once a week and buy water. It's a coin-operated thing, so I got to put in $15 worth of quarters.
Lewis had no alternative but to try to drill a new water well on his property.
From 180, 160, you could smell gas. And he went in there and we got to 240. And when we put that joint on and started to try to blow it out, well, it came at us.
Natural gas exploded out of Lewis Meeks's water well for over 3 days. The Department of Homeland Security reported that over 3 million cubic feet of natural gas escaped into the atmosphere. Lewis had to get an injunction from a judge to get Encana to cement the well to stop the flow and to provide him with a replacement water source. The original well is only good for some bizarre science experiments and brain-altering recreational activities.
Oh, man. Tell me you drink that.
No way.
Tell me there ain't nothing wrong with this water.
It smelled like turpentine. That chemical smell that goes straight to your head and gets you dizzy almost immediately.
Here's the thing, I think it's criminal. What would happen if I took some chemicals like I got and took them to, like, the big boss in Encana and dumped them in his well?
Yeah.
They'd have me in the pen so fast my head would spin.
For sure.
But look, if they can come out here and do whatever they want to. And they don't even have to report it and tell us what they're putting in there.
The whole concept of democracy and looking out for the little guy does not apply here.
Exactly.
It
And I'll
does
tell
not.
you, I ain't not lying. I never seen such lying, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their word ain't no good.
Mm-hmm.
And, and we was all raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
If your word ain't no good, you ain't no good.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk to these are grown men lying to you.
Right.
For what? For money. And that's